What a day, what a day. So, on the other stage, for past 2 days, there have been pitching happening. As every year, we have our 50 founders battle, where the winner gets no strings attached, 10,000 euros from TechChill team. Also, we had altogether more than 200 applicants, both for the 50 founders battle and the Baltic Ban joint investment in one startup. And those will be announced afterwards. So now we will look at the final pitches from the 50 founders battle. But before we start, I would like to welcome the jury on my stage somewhere. So please welcome Andris Berzinch, Managing Partner at Change Ventures. Hey, Andris.
Oh, great to be here.
Well, what are you looking forward to ask the startups? What are the single thing you're looking to grasp from them?
I want to find out how they're going to build a very big business in the future.
Go big or go home, I hear. Thank you, Andris.
Exactly.
Arvydas Blože, Investment Manager at Practica Capital, our friends from Practica.
Hi, everyone. Yes, Arvydas from Early Stage Venture Capital Fund, Practica Capital from Vilnius, Lithuania, backing early stage ideas with a lot of growth potential from this region.
So what is your single thing you're looking for in startups?
I look for a team, product, and market fit. This is what we look for. Right team to build the right product in the right market, right? And ambition, of course.
Thanks. I feel that the first two jury members have picked all the easy picks, and the rest will have hard time. So the next one is Marili Merendi, principal at Karma Ventures. Also our dear friends. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. So Karma Ventures, we are a deep tech focused late seed and A round investing in Europe. And I can immediately answer what I'm looking for. It's impact, probably also like a lot of used words, but it's really something that we are passionate about, and I think it's important for the future as well of everybody.
Thank you, Marili. The next up is Tuomas Kosonen, partner at InVenture. So glad to see you, Tuomas. Sad that we are not meeting this year in person.
Yeah, that's a pity. I think, is it 9th year already, like this year?
10th.
Taking place, or 10th. I think I've been there like 9 or 10 times, so it's quite a pity that I cannot be there in person, but great to be here at least online. So InVenture is a seed and early stage investor in Nordics and Baltics. We do see tech investments in the most promising, let's say, teams and like opportunities, what we find from this region, and like quite technology agnostic. So as long as there's a huge opportunity. So what we are looking for, besides the ones that already been mentioned, which are like quite crucial for us, is of course to fit with us as well. So it's like this investment period that we normally work with the companies is like easily like 7 to 10 years. So it has to be fit with the personal fit also. And of course, with all the other already mentioned points has to be like a tick in the box as well.
Great. Thank you, Tuomas. Next up is Sufyan Malik, Program Manager at Draper University.
Thank you. And I think my fellow jury members have pointed everything out. That's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for the right team, and we're looking for how passionate they are. Because if they're visionary founders, it doesn't matter what startup they're working on, and if they're resilient, if they show perseverance, they can almost succeed at anything they choose to do in life. So I'm wishing the best of luck to all the startups pitching today, and looking forward to working with my fellow jury members later on.
Great. So the format will be as follow. We will have pitch from the startup, which will be pre-recorded, followed by 2-minute, 3-minute. My assistant says 3-minute live Q&A with the person from the startup. And we will start with Ava, startup from Australia.
Hello, TechChill. My name is Andrew, and I'm here to present to you a company called Ava, where we can showcase the financial data of multiple entities on a single dashboard. I would also like to say that we are privileged that this is our second year at presenting to TechChill 50 founders. However, the deck that I'm about to go through with you today has had very minimal changes, which means as a startup we have found the right market. Now, many of you may be aware that 60% of businesses fail within their first 3 years. As an example, UK had 23,000 companies fail in 2019 alone. I know this because I have 12 years experience working in the corporate advisory space, working with small to medium businesses not fail because of financial reasons. The issue that we found when working within this industry is that we had no way of monitoring a multitude of our clients, both financial and non-financial KPIs at any given time. The companies that were trying to solve this solution in the market that we found were far too complex and took up way too much of our time. Not only this, but other companies that we spoke to within the marketplace who were looking for the same solution found the same issue, with BDO in the United Kingdom using 3 of these platforms but only about 20% of each. So, we created our own. Ava is a platform where we can showcase the financial and non-financial KPIs of multiple entities on a single platform. Not only this, we can take the financial data of multiple accounting platforms and show them into a single report, and we are the only company in the world who can do this. Therefore, we have worked ourselves into 2 major markets, being the UK and Australia, and we have set ourselves up with 3 major strategic partners, and with a selection of clients, which has given us a monthly recurring revenue of €7,000 through a SaaS model. Now, this may be impressive to have done through COVID, but one of our strategic partners, BGL, we launched a major feature with them in July this year, which will see our recurring revenue jump to a $65,000 per month. Now, after 12 months of working with this feature and the 8,000 clients that BGL have, we expect a monthly recurring revenue of $250,000 at this time next year. The best thing about this, it is a done deal, signed, sealed, and soon to be delivered. Therefore, we are seeking to raise €400,000 and or strategic partners where we can roll out similar solutions within the markets that we're targeting. Now, we are still the same team of data-driven accountants, AI enthusiasts, and data scientists. And we've been working on this platform for over 24 months. The company's name is Ava, my name is Andrew, and we are supported by the likes of Startup Wise Guys, the New South Wales Government, and Stone and Chalk. Thank you.
Great. Now the audience is really roaring, and for the Q&A, we have been joined by Andrew. So, questions from jury?
Afternoon, everybody. How are you?
Great, thanks. Hey, could you, like this BGL deal seems to be quite crucial now, could you open that a little bit? So what does that include and how's the rollout, and is it like already like 65K additional like overnight happening to you guys?
So BGL is a self-managed super fund company who focuses on the Southeast Asia areas. Yes, it's a done deal. Yes, they bring their client bases to us. They've got 8,000 clients. And we are launching our product to them over the course of the next 12 months.
What is the go-to-market plan that you have in mind, and what would be the message, how you actually break through to get to your target customers?
Well, our target customers are accounting firms, and we're making it easier for accounting firms to work with their clients on an advisory level. So especially with COVID, when you've got so many companies which are failing, Who do they look for? Well, especially in Australia and the UK, they look forward to their accountant as someone who could help them. And we're giving their accountant that extra, I suppose, push to become that additional superhero or external CFO, if you like, to these companies.
I may continue on that one. So like a lot of these accounting companies have already existing like software and systems. So this will be additional on top of them. And like quite a few have some CFO functions or features already. So is this replacing them or all additional?
So the CFO functions, I'm not sure what softwares you're talking about. If I understood you correctly, and you're saying, are we going to be replacing things like Xero or Fort Knox or QuickBooks or anything like that? No, that's not what we're doing. We're taking that information out and we're displaying it differently, and we're scoring that information and issuing KPIs and visualizations on that information. So we're not looking to replace these already huge companies in the marketplace already. We're looking to make them better and easier to use. And not only that, we're making it so that the clients can easily understand it as well.
Could I jump in a bit? So it's probably a bit not clear and not crisp enough for us to understand. Are you selling to accounting firms an extra layer of data visualization, or are you selling to companies and decision makers in the company this layer of data visualization? And depending on the answer is like, what is your pitch on the value added of your product?
That's a great question. And the reason why I like that question so much is that we are selling to the accountant. We are not selling to the end user. However, we have built our platform for the end user to understand. So we have broken down that language barrier between accountant and end user. So if you are an owner of a restaurant or a coffee shop or a cafe, and you struggle to understand what the terminologies your accountant would give you, we've broken that barrier down. So the conversation between the accountant and the end user is far more sustainable.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Next
Thank
up,
you very much.
Yep, from Australia. Well, I'm not sure he's joining from Australia. That would be quite a time
I
difference.
am joining from Australia. I was there last year as well, though.
Whoa! So what's the time difference now?
It's 10:30 in the evening. I was the one on stage last year with the kangaroos. Not sure if you remember that.
Great, thank you, Andrew. Let's move on. So next up is Cellbox Labs.
Hi, my name is Gatis, and I'm co-founder of Cellbox Labs. More than half of cells in our body are actually not human cells, but different microorganisms. It's called microbiome. It affects health, causes diseases like cancer and diabetes, and affects drug efficiency and toxicity, and is very important in drug development process. You can grow microbiome in a petri dish, and animals have a very different microbiome. This is one of the reasons why drug development trials fail as often as startups do, and turns out very expensive. Hundreds of millions or even billion. We have a solution that combines human organ and a petri dish called organ on a chip, that is artificial organ outside our body. By growing human gut cells in small microfluidic channels, we can mimic human gut functions. It helps to test drug candidates more aggressive and fail faster. We will use razor and blade business model that is standard in industry with single-use chips as razors and instrument that runs these chips as a blade. Right now, we are preparing patent for chip design and manufacturing method no other company is using. We have spoken to multiple large pharmaceutical companies like AstraZeneca, GSK, Roche, and we have calculated that we can save 1 to 7 million euros on every drug candidate, and there are around 20 to 50 drug candidates tested for each drug development. Compared to our competition, we are focusing on replicating exact organ functions and keeping high automation level as required by pharma industry. Right now, we are at TRL4 and we are developing chips by using public funding attracted at the institute and the company. We have a first customer from Sweden, and we are planning to gain more customers at research institutes and universities in Northern European countries involved in microbiome research. It would allow us to validate the model and go after our target market, big pharma. By combining multiple organs, we can replicate human on a chip that is the ultimate goal for drug discovery and have a potential to replace animals in humans in clinical trials. We have a team of 3 PhDs with academic and startup experience in United Kingdom, Silicon Valley, and Latvia, and combines expertise and knowledge in microfluidics, engineering, and biology. Join us to change the future of drug development.
Thank you. So, what an interesting deep tech. For the Q&A, we have been joined by Gatis Mozolevskis, founder. So, questions?
Hey, thank you. I would start with a question here that is it based on the primary research or secondary research? Like in a way, like have you come up with this new approach, or is it something that there are other competitors doing the same?
Yes, referring to your question, I would say it's secondary research, because this concept has been shown around 10 years ago, and it's a fairly new field. But we are taking a bit different approach, using more appropriate technology for this organs on chip development.
And the follow-up question here, like if it's 10 years ago kind of emerged, has it not been successful, or is it now like the new approach that brings this success?
Let's say it's quite deep tech. It's complicated, and there is a vast field. It's not like you make one organ and that's it. You can make very different complexity of organs. You can mimic very different diseases, etc. So there are a lot of things to still improve, and still it's in development.
Thanks.
It's very interesting and bold take, so congratulations. It's amazing to hear such ideas. I will jump with 2 questions. One is freedom to operate, because 10 years ago probably it's patented. Who owns the patents and how are you able to navigate? Do you have a patent yourself? And second is how you're going to make a lot of money.
Yes, thank you. Very good questions. Regarding patenting and IP and freedom to operate, we have done quite a lot of research based on previous patents and we know basically what every other company is doing, technologies they use. Right now we're working with one of the top IP consultancy firms in Scandinavia on a patent application that we are planning to file in next couple of few months. And second question was about how we are going to make a lot of money. Right now we have discussed with a few large pharmaceutical companies, and they have started let's say last few years working on this. And right now, let's say in AstraZeneca, there are 100 people working. Roche is 50 to 100, and etc. And they are expecting that we see that there will be hundreds of people working in every large pharmaceutical companies, and also CROs, contract research organizations. So we see this as one of the standard methods for R&D in drug development. For example, FDA asked just now Bayer to do a test on specifically an organ on chip. So we expect this will be a standard tool.
Thank you, Gatis. It was nice having you. So let's move on with Longenesis.
Good afternoon. My name is Sergey, and I'm a CEO and co-founder at Longenesis. At Longenesis, we're unlocking the power of biomedical data without borders. Our vision is cutting up to 70% of clinical trial setup and biomedical data identification times for big pharma and study sponsors. Now, did you know that it takes around $5 billion and around 10 years to actually get the new drug to the market? Now, 70% of these costs and time would be spent on clinical trials, where the vast majority of clinical trial budget would actually be spent on patient identification alone. Disregarding all of this, around 86% of clinical trials are actually failing to finish on time. This results in huge unrealized loss for pharmaceutical companies or other study sponsors, amounting to around $5 million per day in everyday delay in the clinical trial cycle. Now, to mitigate this problem, we have created our own two-step approach consisting of two products, Longenesis Curator and Longenesis Themis. Longenesis Curator serves the purpose of seamless digitized identification of patient cohorts around the globe through one unified and compliant interface for study sponsors. Longenesis Themis allows study sponsors to onboard these cohorts that they have identified through Curator in a seamless manner, present them with consent agreements, as well as compliantly generate additional data from these patients or study participants in the selected clinical sites. Now, this approach allows us to cut up to 70% of costs and time associated with clinical recruitment in all three clinical trial stages, and cut a considerable amount of money that can be saved in this process. Now, so far, Longenesis Curator has been monetizing as a PaaS, platform as a service tool, plus it has been charging royalties per patient or data item discovered by the sponsors. Longenesis Themis has been monetizing as a SaaS tool, where it charges the users in packages depending on the study participant count that is being onboarded. To date, we already have 2 governmental clients behind our belt, 4 biopharma deployments, and 3 academic consortium deployments and relationships established. Currently, we're also able to reach 1.5 million patients around the globe. We have so far scored $230K US dollars in revenues in the previous period since we got commercial. We have 300K US currently pre-booked this year, and we're targeting 1.3 million US by the end of this year. Our team is basically a combination of medical, engineering, and entrepreneurial backgrounds, with all of our colleagues having extensive track record in their related spheres, be it medical or engineering backgrounds. On this note, thank you very much, and we'll be happy to share additional information about our round that is being closed right now as we speak.
Great, thank you. So for the Q&A, we have joined Sergey Yakimov, one of the founders.
Hi, how are you?
Jury, questions?
Hey, Sergey. Nice to see you. So what's the sales process that you have for selling these, and how are you planning to sell them? Is this like a classic direct sales, enterprise sales approach, or is there some other way of getting this to market?
Right. So the trick with us is that we're not random people in a way, right? So we have been working with pharma for quite a while now, and we also have our advisory boards. So we essentially know which pharmaceutical companies are focusing on which diseases and which clinical trial requests they actually have, right? So we started off with the very first clients when we actually approached big pharma and pitched them the product, and we demonstrated live how we can create custom patient cohorts for them in a few clicks instead of 6 months, right? We are now actually at the stage when we are approached by biopharma without our effort already, right? So we have several biopharma requests coming in, for example, for custom patient cohorts where we did not approach them at all, and there was no sales process happening in the very first place, right? So we started off manual, and we're now getting even more and more automatic with our clients. That said, some of our clients are actually companies that are willing to acquire data. And right now we have a couple of data deals happening on Curator, for example, where the companies again approached us and joined Curator as study sponsors and went through the fully automated process of identifying data and requesting it from the data publishers on the Curator. So effectively, we did nothing, right? We just created a framework for them to communicate.
Thank you.
Could you a little bit explain that statement that it will be saving 70% of the time and making more efficient the process, or that's quite bold statement. So just which part it cuts fastest and most? So where does the change come from?
Right. I'll give you several examples here, for example, right? So 3 days ago, we have finally officially announced our relationship and deployment in the Baltic states with Medtronic, which is one of the biggest medical device manufacturers. Now, there we are, the study sponsor, Medtronic, has created a custom diabetic cohort, which was based on a very specific inclusion criteria for these patients, basically in one day, right, by using Curator and understanding where these patients are. Effectively doing this in a traditional way, hiring a CRO and doing it manually as a CRO would do it, they would simply call the clinical sites and scout for these patients. That would take more than half a year, right, to summon this cohort. The second example is that right now we have one major pharma, which I cannot name, unfortunately, that does oncology research that is scouting for specific patient cohorts with breast cancer and breast cancer risks. Again, what we can do is we can summon it in 15 minutes. And that's the beauty of it, right? Again, manually speaking, it would take several months, sometimes up to a year, of actually getting these patients onboarded, right? Disregarding the factor that if we're talking about very sensitive disease areas such as oncology, which is the most intensive in clinical trials, by the way, the dynamics of the patients essentially do not allow you to scout for them for a year, right? Because the disease progresses much faster, right? So these are essentially the factors that restrict the traditional, well, non-digital or analog, whatever you want to call it, approach, right? And screams for the digital solution for it. So that's two real life examples right there.
Thank you, Sergey. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Moving on with Gelatex from Estonia.
Hi, I'm Märt-Erik from Gelatex, a materials technology company specializing in nanofibers. There hasn't been an innovation on how we produce meat for 10,000 years. The current meat production is responsible of massive land and water use. In addition, it produces 15% of global greenhouse gas emissions, and the majority of the meat consumed today is grown using antibiotics. Luckily, there's a solution for that, lab-grown or cell-based meat. It is estimated that already in 2040, 35% of the meat consumed will be cell-based. And this is a $1.2 trillion market. In order to achieve something that feels, tastes, looks, something like animal-based meat, we need scaffolds. So the scaffold mimics the structure of extracellular matrix, the stuff that binds the cells together to make up a tissue. Current scaffolds used in tissue engineering are really expensive or not achievable in large quantities. So our solution is a high-performance nanofibrous scaffold that is edible and that is has a low cost. It has a unique 3D morphology to induce the muscle growth. It works with different cell lines such as pork, beef, and also fish and chicken. And what most importantly, it's highly scalable and has automated production. Our competitive advantage relies in a high throughput technology, high to produce nanofibers on a large scale. We have one patent filed around the technology, and we have a machinery up and running to produce these materials. Just to give you a comparison, the largest unit to produce nanofibers today costs 8 million to build on the market and produces only 360 grams of material per hour, whereas our semi-industrial prototype can already output 1.5 kilograms material. So this is 4 times more material per one machine, and the initial investment in our case is 40 times less compared to the electrospinning, the method I just described. So combining these two aspects, lower initial investment plus higher throughput, enables us to reduce the cost of nanofibers more than 90%. We are a team of material scientists, material technologists, engineers. My co-founder, Marian, has a background in business development and business consulting. Just with 400,000 euros of prior funding, we have our own facilities, fully operational production line, 2 patents filed, MVP launched on the market, and we're testing with top cultured meat companies in the world, such as those. In addition, our technology is applicable also in medicine, in filtration, but our main focus is on the cultured meat, where we see the biggest potential. For that, we're raising a 1.2 million, our first prize round, to further develop our product and expand the team, and we're looking for a last ticket. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone is so much on time. That's what happens when you have pre-recorded pitching. Nothing goes over. That's good. So for the Q&A, we have been joined by Mert Erik. Welcome.
Hi.
Jury?
So good, no one has questions.
No. There are questions. Trying to unmute myself.
Go on.
Yeah, so great take. I truly trust in this kind of cultured meat take, right? And the question would be, are you planning to run factory kind of manufacturing and supply the nanofiber, or are you? And the innovation is both in technology, spin throughput, so on, and the fiber, or it's actually you just try to sell the equipment for everyone else to kind of build this. Where's the core advantage in your company?
Yes, good question. So the biggest competitive advantage relies in how we produce the nanofibers. The machinery and the technology behind it is completely proprietary. The equipment is designed and built in-house from basically from zero, right? So the business model initially for at least the first 4 years will be that we will be a material producers. So that enables us to keep the business in company and also to have the margins that we plan to have. But after that, when the cultured meat industry will take off and when it's accessible already to everyday people, it's available in supermarkets, then we see that producing only on our own doesn't is not sufficient. So after that, we are planning to move the licensing model so we can scale up faster, and also that scaffold manufacturing will be near to the end product production, basically.
What's the end product in that sense? What is that you think that will be like the killing feature and like the end product, or what will actually like get the consumers as well?
Yeah, so our material enables a 3D tissue formation in lab. So this is something that is quite hard to achieve already today, and really hard to achieve without scaffolds, or impossible to achieve without scaffolds. So the scaffold is needed to achieve 3D tissue. That's like period. Now tissue, the cultured meat industry is essentially a industrial tissue engineering, and we need industrial solutions for that. And that's why we need faster nanofiber production. That's why we do what we do, in order to reduce the price to make these materials accessible. Yeah, that's my answer.
Thank you, Mert Erik. So let's move on with Algomo from UK.
Hi everyone, we're Algomo and we make customer service multilingual. The majority of new internet users do not speak English. This means that every company that wants to grow internationally has to support the customers in the native language. And currently there are two options to do that. Adding more customer service agents to support every new language, which is very expensive, or adding more automation, like chatbots, which generally don't really work and they can be really expensive in a multilingual setup. So how do I know that? Well, I used to be the lead data scientist that created HSBC's global chatbot framework 2 years ago. For a basic solution just supporting just 3 languages, we spent 1 year and millions of pounds. But why was it so expensive? This because we followed the industry standard of creating a separate bot per language. This, however, required 3 teams. An initial team that created the bot in English, and then 2 more that would translate the bot and maintain it in the other languages. And this, of course, resulted in operational silos. And trust me, it was a headache to coordinate, not to mention really expensive. The solution is to create a single bot that understands all the languages, and that's exactly what we're doing here at Algomo. This approach helped companies expand internationally, faster, cheaper, and more importantly, with no more operational headaches. But this is only half of the story. Algomo is the only technology that you support with 109 languages. We're talking about 109 languages. These are more than Google Translate. Building this technology is not easy, but we're the right time to do it. Before HBC, I was Vice President of Data Science at Barclays. The rest of the team has PhDs in machine learning and over 30 years of commercial experience. The strong combination of product and team helped us secure £260,000 in grants from the UK government. We're currently in closed alpha, yet our unique offering helped us secure 30 pilots with neobanks, SMEs, travel agencies, even the public sector. And do you know how got some of them? We created a bot solely based on the frequently asked questions on their website. And if you ask someone who would otherwise need months to create a bot, if they want to get one right now 10 times less, then the sales is kinda easy. The current market is $37 billion, and there's plenty of competition with big players such as IBM, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, etc. All these technologies combined can currently support 33 languages that cover 4.6 billion people. Algomo supports 76 languages more, reaching an extra 1.4 billion people. These people live in emerging economies of rising middle classes who have access to the internet but unfortunately no support in their native language. And I'm really excited to see how much bigger we can grow this $37 billion market for the 1.4 billion people for whom we're practically a monopoly. And that alone should be a good reason to come talk to us. So thank you, we're Algomo, we make customer service multilingual.
Thank you. And for the Q&A, we have been joined by Charis Spirakis. Hey.
Hey, everyone.
Hello, I'll start. Thanks for the presentation. So what is the technological advantage that you've built, like given that those 33 have been covered by really large companies and technically, you know, they should have the manpower and the resources to provide those smaller languages as well?
Of course. So as I mentioned in the pitch, the standard approach right now is to create a separate bot per language. Which means that if a company wants to expand internationally, they have support as many languages as many bots as the language they want to build, which means operationally it's a bottleneck. So they can definitely expand to more. Our breakthrough is that we maintain a single bot for all the languages, which means that, I don't know how many languages you speak here, but I speak, let's say 3. I'm not translating anything in my head. I just have a global state of the world in my head. And this specific breakthrough helps, let's say, put an orchestration layer on top that does the localization. So traditionally, a company had to create 3 bots, let's say, for 3 languages, and to procure a company that will do the localization on top, like Unbubble or Localize and so forth, which was only accessible to big banks or big corporations, let's say airports and so forth. In our case, exactly because a global state can actually offer it to SMEs. Okay, so one thing is bundling everything together, another thing is all the extra languages. To be honest, what we're using right now, we're using a pre-trained language model from Google. Before we used one from Facebook, before we used another one from Google. It does not really matter. What we're doing is we're bundling 3 services together and we're offering it to SMEs, which previously was completely out of the question because you cannot do it. You have to, it was really expensive. I can demo you if you want, like in any language you want, and you can see that it works. I mean, it takes 1 second if you want, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. And could you tell us, do you okay, it's NLP kind of engine, understand in many languages with a unique take, but also chatbots recently are very deep, certain level of deep end-to-end integration, right? So one thing is customer service, right? But you need to integrate deeply. Are you doing this, or are you focusing on translation?
So we don't do any translations. So that's an important thing. Like this, okay, that's the first thing. The second important thing we're doing, I don't call it conversational AI. I have noticed in my experience that most of the bots fail. They're trying to fake a conversation. And in terms, when we're trying actually to resolve any kind of complex flows, instead of designing a flow, we're just presenting in the widget the specific form. So for example, if you want to order a pizza, we'll put you in the widget the form for ordering the pizza. We're not going to be asking you questions. This is exactly the problem with most of the chatbots. And the question I'm putting to people, like, nobody has ever booked a plane ticket with a chatbot. Nobody will ever send the rent with a chatbot because you don't know if it's working. Whereby if you have the form, the widget, it just works. You have the visual confirmation. I don't know if that answers your question on that.
Yeah, actually, they booked plane tickets, but yeah.
Thank you.
But you know the problems with the industry. It's like it's really difficult to manage the flow. If you want to make a change, like if you want to change the airport, for example, it's really difficult to manage the conversation. That's the problem.
Thank you, Charis.
No problem. Sorry, no. Yes, thank you a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Charis. So those were our 5 finalists out of more than 200 applicants. As you can see,
I am back because jury is back as well, and I am excited for a reveal of the winners of the 50 Founders Battle in 2021. We have quite a few prizes. As well as founders know, starting a company is an incredible and unique life experience, but it can also be overwhelming, isolating, and stressful. Founderly provides you with an accessible way to bring your idea to life while optimizing your performance. To help out today's battlers, Founderly is providing a 1-year free membership to the winner of 50 Founders Battle and a 3-month membership to all the runners-up. And I'd like to invite Ott Salmar, the head of business development at Cloudvisor, to introduce and announce the winners of the next prize, please. We can hear you.
Sorry, classical, my mistake. Okay, I hope you can hear me now. So thank you for the introduction and congratulations to all 50 who got into the final and who were able to battle it out. If any of you, I don't hear, if any of you didn't win but are still interested in helping, getting help with AWS that you're using, just feel free to reach out to us. But without further ado, I will announce the 3 winners of AWS credits. Each of them will get $5,000 worth of AWS credits from AWS to help pay for their infrastructure services, which is what everybody could need in the beginning anyways, at least. So the first winner is Fintelligence. The second is TypeBot, and the third is Algomo. So congratulations to all winners and keep up the good work.
Thank you. And maybe the winners want to come up on the stage. Are you here? For some words. Congratulations. Not there. Congratulations from us anyway. The next prize will help.
Algomo? No, I missed that. Anyway.
Oh, you're here. No, you didn't miss it. You're right on time.
Yeah, no, my microphone was off, so yeah. So sorry for that. Yeah, thanks a lot. It's great to have the third place, and yeah, I'm really excited to see how we can grow and how can actually get into the market of the Baltics as well. So yeah, thanks a lot. It's my pleasure.
So let's get in touch and talk about the details.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody still here? This is the time. We're waiting for you. Let's move forward, because the next prize will help the startup to promote their product, service, or whatever they please. To tell us more and announce the winner, I'd like to invite Aiga Kalbionoka, sorry, I'm so sorry, startup ambassador of HTT Pool.
Yeah, hello hello TechChill people. All good. It's usually difficult to pronounce my surname, but I'm really excited to be joining today. And actually, I've been attending TechChill events since I remember myself being a part of the startup ecosystem. So I'm really happy. And actually today we had a panel discussion about marketing as a global growth accelerator. And summing up, one of the conclusions we came up with is that in Baltics, we are great in building a product, but however, we still struggle with advertising and marketing. And our mission at HTT Pool is to assist local companies in accelerating this global growth. And we want to educate and help local companies to test new advertising channels, find the most efficient ways to reach their customers and enter new markets. Therefore, we're giving out this prize. And actually, it was really challenging to choose the winner. All teams did a great job. But without any further ado, I'm delighted to announce that our prize goes to Gelatex. So congratulations.
Congratulations, Gelatex. Are you
Thank
somewhere
you
around?
very much. Thank you very much, and thanks for the support towards making a better future a reality through novel materials. And I promise you, the nanofiber revolution will come with us. Thank you.
Great to hear that.
Thank you, Aiga. The next prize is a full scholarship to Draper University's Summer 2021 Hero Training Program. To tell you more and announce the lucky startups, I'm going to do that. And it's Gelatex, Cellbox Labs, Ava, and Longenesis. Congratulations. This year, we're very excited to have the first Pan-Baltic Angel Syndicate, providing investments to not one, but 2 startups. Let's welcome the lead investor, Arturs Bernovskis, to tell us more and announce the winners.
Hi, everyone. I'm proud to be a lead investor in the first Pan-Baltic Business Angel Syndicate. We check a lot of startups from TechChill, and all of them was great. And then we decide to invest in 2 startups. Congratulations, Gelatex and BeReach. So we will invest into you. And yeah, good luck to all startups, and see you next year. Thank you very much, TechChill, for so great event. Thank you.
Thank you. Are the winners here and want to say some words? So finally, we're moving to the highlight of 50 Founders Battle. It's time to learn which is the last startup standing and will take home 10,000 euros with no strings attached, no equity, no tricks, or hidden agendas. I'm hanging it over Marili Merendi from Karma Ventures to announce the jury's verdict.
Thank you, thank you. So it was really a very tough discussion on a jury side. If it's called like 50 Founders Battle, then I would call it like 5 jury member battle almost out there. But we had a very long discussion and pros and cons about all the pitches we heard. And again, this was tough. However, we decided that the winner this year of 50 Founders Battle is Longenesis.
Congratulations! Woo!
TechChill. Do I get to say the words?
Yeah, the words.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for the support, first and foremost. I mean, I think it was great. I also think that the online format, of course, has maybe limited, our capacity as founders to interact with the audience quite a bit, right? Although, as some already mentioned, it was perfectly timed, right? So we also got some pros, not only cons. Right. So it is actually an honor to be the last startup standing, being a very Latvian-rooted team here, right, as well as winning the anniversary edition of TechChill. So thank you very much, and thank you for your support. And I think that winning a startup competition is also a bit of a credit of trust that you give to the startup in a way, right? So we'll not let you down. Thank you.